Okay. Welcome to Homeless to Millionaire. I have my guest with me. His name's Achilles. He's my roommate.
Hello, hello, hello.
Um, Today we're gonna just be talking about the normal. I'm asking the first questions I usually ask people, and it's just about homelessness and our business adventures that we're doing. And yeah, so my first question to you is, what would you do with millions of dollars?
Do whatever the fuck I want.
It's actually kind of funny because when I ask people that question, no one's all like, how many millions? And it's supposed to be the number that pops into your head, but everybody just gives me a straight answer. So, but whatever the fuck you want, what does that mean for you? What is the fuck you want?
Depends on what the person is. Whatever I want to pay for, I buy whatever the fuck I want. It's my millions of dollars. Can't you? I keep it a secret what I want to pay for. You act like it's illegal for me to tell you not to tell you it.
do do you think you're going to get millions of dollars at any point in your life?
Not right now, but maybe later.
Maybe later. Okay. It's just that's kind of the goal here on this whole podcast is uh to be stable. Maybe it's not like for you, maybe it's not millions, but for me it's more than millions. So, but really it's just a stable lifestyle. So, um I'm just, you know, wondering what you think about the business that I've been talking to you about, where your head's at with that, if you think it's going to go anywhere with
If
me and you.
For me, it's been doing pretty well. I think it'll go very far, and as long as we have the same ideas, it should be fine.
What are some of your ideas?
Um, I liked mostly just that we're able to how we were creating some of the things, like the same thing with the what were those?
Just art?
Yeah, the art stuff. The art stuff was pretty smart to do. It makes some good amount of that. If you do pretty good on that, that should be good. And also, I like the idea that you were thinking about the company name and the logo.
Yeah. And I'm going to be making all that myself. And I'm going to have Achilles on me with this venture. I think that's what we call it, a venture, right?
Yep, the venture.
Um, so let's get on to the next question because these questions mostly it's for people that have been homeless, and I know that you've been homeless before. You told me, and we'll talk about it some more. But when it comes to people being homeless, usually people deal with addiction, and that's not something that you really deal with or have to watch out for. So what what is it that, like, how does it make you feel knowing that you're not in that position of addiction, you're not homeless because of addiction?
Well, it makes me feel pretty good, but also has a better understanding of what addiction does to people. And also, it kind of sucks for those who have addiction because they're like, I need this drug right now, and they're always. It can be a drug, it can be alcohol, it can be anything. But honestly, for me, I chose not to be addicted to it for a reason because honestly, I made a strong core of myself to have a strong kind of like a foundation, so I didn't have to touch any of that stuff.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing that you don't do any of that stuff. Like, people are gonna definitely look up to you, 'So, uh, if we can touch up on the subject, if there's anything you don't want me to talk about, just be like, no, I'm not going to talk about that. But um, how did you get to being homeless? Like, what happened with that whole situation?
Well, me and my mom were arguing a couple bits. We couldn't come to a eye to eye. We couldn't see eye to eye with each other. For me, I had dreams and goals and aspirations that I wanted to get done with. My mom didn't really see it that way, so she kicked me out. And I was on the streets and I had to figure it out for myself.
So just, headbutting with family, that's what did it to you, you and your mother not having the best relationship at the time?
We didn't have the best relationship whatsoever. We had a very terrible relationship growing up. When I was younger, I used to argue and fight with her, and she used to do the same thing with me.
Damn. I'm sorry to hear that. I'd love to keep it on that track, but let's change it up. Like, even though this uh, podcast is about, becoming homeless to being stable, we're not going to focus too much on being homeless. That just because that's the niche doesn't mean that that's all we got to focus on. Um, but where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, hopefully, I have my job in welding, doing pretty good in that. Hopefully, I can buy whatever the hell I want.
Oh, okay. Just so that's your $1 million dream is 5 years. Well, maybe that's not the $1 million dream, but in 5 years, being successful, working a job, that's what you hope to have done.
Yep, hopefully, I get that done, and hopefully, I can continue doing it and being able to eventually, I'll get enough money to do whatever I want in the end.
Okay, nice. Do you have any goals that you are setting to be successful?
Well, the goals that I have for successful was for me, I didn't have a probably straightforward one, but honestly, I just think of what I can do at the time being. So it can be small. Like for me, when we went to Job Corp for me is like a starting format for me to see how far I can go into that. And once I get into the campus and see if I can get a lot of things, hopefully I can get it all done so I can probably do a lot more. But hopefully I have a bigger plan and bigger aspirations. Because as long as I complete one task at a time, it's good.
Okay. Well, Achilles, it's such a blessing to have you on this podcast. I think right now this is one of the smoothest podcasts I have uh, recorded so far. I'm wondering if there's anything that you have on your mind to express, or if there's any questions that you would like to ask. Be You can be yourself. I know we say off the wall shit, or you say off the wall shit most of the time.
Honestly, these I don't know these people who are watching this podcast. I don't know what they're gonna think about me. They're just gonna thinking, oh shit, it's just another person that he just brings on the podcast. He's bringing in homeless people off the streets. He's picking them up off of the ground. And he's like, they just think they pick any. You think he picked anybody off the street? Nah, G. Honestly, it's kind of like worse than my dad in the milk. It's kind of like that. And half the time, I'm really just minding my own business, and then people be on my shoulder, be like, "Shit, he's back again."
Well, I'd love to have you back again. Um, I think that we're both interested in going to Job Corps, so I think that I would have you on the show as a regular if we went there. Uh, and because you're part of my organization, I just created my website yesterday. And as of right now, you might not be making anything to shit, you know. But as of right now, you're kind of employed, dog. You're part of this business. Like I'll start paying you as soon as I get the chance, as soon as I start making some money, you
Uh,
know.
all right, all right, all right, all right.
So when I had Colin on here, C Dozy, we talked about um music. So I had some questions for him, and I'm just gonna ask you some of the same ones that sound good to you.
Yeah, I'm sure with that.
Okay. Because I know that you make music. I'm always encouraging you to make the best music you can. Um, but what age did you start making music?
I was around 16 years old
16. Why did you start making it?
because I was influenced by a lot of rappers. Growing up, I had a lot of rappers like Eminem, Lil Wayne. I liked Gucci Mane. I liked a lot of these artists, and a lot of them inspired me to do a lot of things, kind of like Young Dolph and all of them.
Okay. I I think those are some legends that you just said. You know, Young Dolph, Lil Wayne, of course Eminem. I remember the one time I was joking on Eminem saying he's a white boy, and you're like, you would have got roasted if you were on a podcast or on a radio show.
He would have got roasted the fuck out of him because honestly, say if he was on a regular musical podcast, those motherfuckers would roast the shit out of him.
Eminem, you're one of the greatest rappers of all time. I just don't think you deserve the spot to be number one. You know.
Oh shit! You better hope he don't diss you. You better hope he don't diss your ass, dog.
Achilles thinks otherwise. He thinks you're number one. Or you know what? I'm not gonna put words in his mouth,
I think
but
you're number one, Eminem. Don't worry about it. Don't listen to him.
okay. So where I know I asked you like why you make music and what age you started, but where does your passion stem from?
My passion stems from the way I was able to come up with lyrics. So like rhymes. So every time I came with a rhyme, I always had something. So like lyricism was my easiest thing to do. So when I came up, like say if I was to go with a rhyme like rhyme, time, fine, dime, dine, fine, wine. Honestly, I had a lot of things that came easy to me. So it was usually the thing that came to passion. Freestyling, I love to freestyle with people. It was also a passion of mine to do so. I said one day I was hoping to be assigned to 1017. That was my goal. And the passion stemmed from there because I liked Gucci Mane.
It's 1017 Gucci Man.
Gucci Mane is 1017, baby.
I don't see you're more into the culture than I am. Like I started out listening to Eminem, you know, so I wasn't, you know, of course the first rapper I ever heard was Fat Joe. And I would listen to Lean Back at 4 years old or 3 to 4 years old in the car when my mom would always put it on, and then I'd be like, Lean back,
Lean
lean back.
back. Lean back.
Yeah. So those are great memories, but it shows like I think just the fact that you listened to Gucci Mane means you were listening to more rappers that affected the culture overall because now we got such huge names out there nowadays, and I'm not sure if I want to say any, but they all affect the culture as a, and I'll say some, why not? Like we got a Lil Durk, you know, he's he is sadly in jail right now, but
Incarcerated.
incarcerated. Yeah, but we got Lil Durk. We got. See, this is why I didn't want to say the rappers' names, is because then it looks like I'm just saying one genre at a time, which is Chicago drill. Because I was gonna say King Von. We got We got, well, no, we also got J. Cole. We got Kendrick Lamar. We got all these greats in the game. And I think as a young kid listening to Gucci means that you were just more spread out. You knew more about rappers than I do because Gucci I never really listened to him.
Yeah, the thing about different types of rappers, I listened to a lot of different things growing up. I just learned to always and be impressed with a lot of different talents. I think everybody is talented in their own way.
Hmm. Okay, which is right. That's one thing about music, man, is I hear somebody go off and they do their thing, and I never knock somebody's creation process because there's something special in there. Like, and you could always hear it. You can always find it. Like, unless somebody like rappers, take Lil Pump for instance. Nobody, you take that to 1990s hip hop, nobody would ever think that man would blow because it's just not. It's
Not lyrical, as they would say.
yeah, it's not as lyrical. It's more of a party vibe. But but you know, a kid can listen to that and they can hear what they like in it, which is Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang. You know, just saying it and hearing that cadence and rhythm, like it's a special cadence and rhythm, even though it might be simple to some people, it might be stupid to some people. It's honestly one of the the better things about music is the fact that you can't knock anybody's creative process no matter how they came up with it or how they do it because there's always something special. There's something in there that everybody can hear that, you
I
know.
get basically I could do the same thing and we'll get the same thing. But the thing about what Lil Pump has is more like he's a party anthem. But I could do the same thing as Lil Pump if I really wanted to. And honestly, for nowadays, I think I would blow up the same way because now a lot of people are into that sort of rap now.
Yeah, and it's definitely the new age. Gen Z is what's popular now. So I think no matter what, you should always stay true to your talents because not everybody wants to hear the things that are already out. You know.
Yeah, that's why I was more lyrical with it because honestly, being lyrical is not an easy thing. Because honestly, I have to think of always the next rhyme and think of a story. Stories are not easy to make, and each talented person is not always meant to shine.
Mm, that's true. That's very true. I I even think about myself when you say that. Like I've been told I have talent, but I've quit rapping. Of course, I'm working on a song with you because I want to get a song down with you. I've been like since you've got here, we've been planning on doing that. So, but like I guess I wasn't meant to shine because maybe it was just not the right thing for me at the time. Maybe music isn't my calling. Maybe this is my calling. Just sitting down, talking to people, letting them know how the day's going, letting them know what's going on in the world and all that. Um, so, to get back on the track of homelessness, so, I was looking up statistics and I just I was gonna save this for the podcast that I had with Eddie, but Eddie had to go to the hospital. So I might as well bring it up on here. Um, did you know that the total homeless population is 653,100 plus? So that's in the United States, like that's half, that's more than half a million people are out on the streets.
Yeah, it's a pretty sad thing to think about if you think about it really. In
Mm.
general, that anybody can be homeless at some point due to addiction or due to something else.
What do you think would need to happen to have that number lowered?
I think there needs to be somewhat of a change, and sometimes people always don't have chances. But
Yeah.
honestly, the leader we have now is not going to make that change right now.
Yeah, there's a lot to say about Trump. Of course, I'm not going to talk about him because I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Um, but of those 653,000, only 60% are sheltered. So almost half, 40% are sleeping on streets or in cars. How do you feel knowing that you could be somebody sleeping on the streets or in the car, which you've already been at some point? How does it make you feel knowing that that is still a possibility for people like me and you?
It's kind of like how the world works, and that's how I kind of dealt with it. I honestly slept on the streets beforehand until I came to a place like this, where they had us sheltered and stuff like that. But honestly, for me, sleeping on the streets is kind of like a terrible thing because you don't know what's gonna happen. And honestly, there's a lot of things that can happen on the streets that people don't know about. And a lot of people shield it from the world and don't talk about it because they think that the streets are easy when it's really not.
Yeah, streets are definitely a rough place. And what's even worse about it is 34,700 plus people of that 653,000 are under the age of 25. So we have almost 35,000 young people like you and me out on the streets every day. And I'm just, I bring this up because I want people to see how real of a situation this is for people, for human beings. Um, it's not something to look away from. Americans are losing their apartments, losing their houses every day, sleeping in their cars. We in LA they got Skid Row, which is just a bunch of tents. You know, so I'm sorry to make it sound like that's all I want to talk about on this show, but it's such it's such a negative. I feel like I've made the vibe go kind of down. My
It's
bad.
fine. It's how it works sometimes. Your podcast is about homelessness to millionaire. It's how it all pretty much works.
Yeah, so we can talk about the things that can get somebody out of that position because that's what people can get from this podcast. So I think if you were to ever struggle with homelessness, of course, me and you, we have our parents. So when it comes to health insurance, we're covered. But for the people that aren't covered, I would say go into the ER, let them know you're homeless, and tell them you need some type of Medicaid. I know Trump's making it harder to where you have to have a job for Medicaid and all that, but while that bill is still isn't in progress or whatever, while it hasn't been passed, you should go in, say I'm homeless, I'm sick, and see if they can sign you up with Medicaid or Medicare. Um, and what you can do is start selling some art. That's what me and Achilles are going to be doing. And, hopefully that changes our life. If you have anything to just put your pain onto onto a canvas, create it, write it down, see if anybody will buy your stuff. Of course, it's easier said for me because I at this point in life I have a job. I'm starting with the website. I'm starting with my art, but it it's not easy to be out on the streets and I know that, but if you're watching this and you're in that position, just know that you can do it. Show the world you. If you have any chance, like if, and let's say you're homeless, you have Medicaid or Medicare, and you don't have a car. I mean, not a car, but a phone. If you have a friend, any family, um, use their house for to get a phone sent to your well, first off, first thing you need to do is get EBT. See if you can get EBT. And I know things are harder nowadays, so this advice may seem hard. I just got my EBT cut off, so I'm just using my money to pay for things now. But that's life and we all have to go through it. But get EBT, and you can get that by and going into the Social Security office, talking to them about EBT, and they should be able to help sign you up with the card as long as you tell them you're homeless. And then next thing you want to do is have your documentation. If you don't have an ID, again, you need to figure out some way to get some money. You should have your birth certificate or your social security card. And if you don't have that, I would say go to a shelter and then see if you can find people to help you out with that. But try and get a phone if you have your social security card or birth certificate or ID. Try and get a phone and then start making some type of video. Start posting online. Start making your own business. You can do it with little to no money. Is there anything you want to add to that, Achilles?
Nah, pretty much you got it all covered. You did a pretty good job on that.
Okay. Well, next podcast, I'll have more to talk to you guys about. Um, thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys again on Homeless to Millionaire. So stay tuned.
Peace.
Peace.